Hi friends, it's Grace and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a bit of a book haul that encompasses, I don't even really know how long because it's been a long time since I did like a genuine book haul. When I was doing the vlogs that I was filming for Realmathon in March, I hauled a few books in those because I had a few like pre-orders that arrived and we did go book shopping and I included those in clips. So there are some books that have not been hauled in like a formal book haul, and there are some that I can't remember whether I included in those videos or not. So there are a couple that I don't think you've seen before that I wanted to include in this one, and if you didn't watch those vlogs, there are a few books that I hauled in the month of March that are included in that. But all of that is to say that this is essentially just a few of the books that I've been really excited about recently that I have picked up. And out of this stack, I have only fully read one of these books so far, and I am part of the way through another one. So to start off with, we have the one book that I have finished since purchasing it, and that is Blood, the Science, Medicine, and Mythology of Menstruation by Dr. Jen Gunter. And this is a nonfiction book, as you can probably tell, that I picked up kind of on a whim, just because, not in a whim in the sense that I didn't know that I would want to read it, but I just saw it in Indigo and was instantly intrigued because this is a topic that I would like to read more about. And I really liked Dr. Gunter's approach to this book as an OB-GYN writing this book, and it is a topic that I'm interested in. I don't like work in the field and I'm not a medical professional, but I did take some reproductive biology in my like undergrad and into the research that I did in my master's. So it's a definite topic of interest for me, and I thought that this book was really well written and really informative, and I quite enjoyed it. So this is one of the things that I've purchased, and it is something that I'm really glad that I purchased. Then next up we have The Rag Picker King by Cassandra Clare, and I think that one of the times that I last spoke to you in those vlogs in March, I had said that I wasn't allowing myself to buy this book until I was like actively reading or had finished Swordcatcher, because I was pretty convinced that I would like it, but I was like, I need to stop doing this. Like, I need to stop buying way ahead in a series when I haven't even started it yet. I need to at least know that I like it. That way I feel like I'm making a responsible choice. And in April, I did indeed read Swordcatcher and liked it. So in that case, I went right out to buy this, and I have not read this yet, but I am very excited about it. This is like not hopefully going to be put off for very long, but I do like to give a slight buffer period between books in a series. I'm very rarely ever a series binge reader. Instead, I will be very intentional about my scheduling and like my intent to continue on, but I like to read a few books, like probably one a month for a series, because then I get a few books in between each installment, and that's just the way that it works best for me. Now, next up are two books that I honestly don't recall whether I ever like told the internet that I had bought, and that is Throne of Jade and then The Black Powder War, or just Black Powder War, I guess, book 2 and 3 in Temeraire by Naomi Novik, because in March I read, oh my god, why can I not remember the name? His Majesty's Dragon, the first book in this series, and I really, really loved it. And since all of these books are fairly short, they're not crazy long, I figured I would jump ahead by a couple so that I haven't read either one of these two yet, but when I read book 2, I do have book 3 available to continue on, and hopefully once I read book 2 or while I'm reading book 3, I will look into getting book 4 and so on. But the first book was a very, very strong start for me for this series. Next up, we have the book that I am partway through currently, and Ben claims this for his book haul, which is correct because he is the one that purchased this, but I'm also claiming it in my book haul because, for one, we live in the same house, so technically all of the books that he buys and all of the books that I buy are like a collective thing, but also I was interested in this while he was reading it, and I was really looking forward to picking it up when he was finished, which I have now done, and I am really, really loving it. And that is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. So this is sort of like a high fantasy, like trials, definitely like has some political leanings, and this is also like a murder mystery. It has a lot going on, but it's also very easy to read and very easy to follow. Essentially, the reign of one emperor in this world is coming to an end, and there are a set of trials and an entire festival that must go on to choose the successor to the throne. And while this is going on, one of the contenders for the throne is murdered, and that murder must be solved. And of course, there are a whole bunch of people who are implicated and who cannot be trusted, and the political machinations are very interesting, and it's just very entertaining and engaging, and I have loved every second of my time reading this so far. So another purchase that I'm very happy that we made, even though it was technically Ben. Next up, we have a book that I have been searching for a while on the recommendation of Murphy from Murphy Napier, and that is Borne by Jeff VanderMeer. And we do own the Southern Reach trilogy, but I have never read any Jeff VanderMeer before. But Borne is one that I was so intrigued by when I heard Murphy talk about it, because it revolves around this human girl, Rachel, and this like being creature called Borne that she meets and finds, and they are both existing in this like terribly strange landscape, and I don't even really want to know more about it than that, because even the way that Murphy tried to describe it, it was so strange and unfathomable that I feel like the way to go is just going to be to go into this book and experience it. And like there is entirely the possibility that it will be too weird for me, but I just think that it's such an interesting vibe that I am very much looking forward to it. I don't know what I'm going to think about it, but I hope that I'm just going to be able to sink into the experience. Next up, we have a book that also was technically Ben's purchase, but that I consider to be like a joint decision to purchase by the two of us, and that is The Trees by Percival Everett. And the reason for that is because Ben had read James by Percival Everett and recommended it to me, where I then read it and also loved it. And then after we had both read and loved that one, we were sort of in agreement that we wanted to like also read this book as his next work. So I hear a cat on the counter. Maisie was licking the remnants out of my empty bowl of soup from lunch. But anyway, The Trees is about a pair of detectives, yes, two detectives that are investigating this series of murders, and every murder scene that they come across, there is a second dead body of a person that resembles Emmett Till. And I don't know going into this, like, I haven't really read the back in detail because I want to be surprised going into this on whether this is like a symbolic thing that they find, whether it's actually a supernatural thing that they're finding. But the point, obviously, of the symbolism is that there are things from the past and unresolved traumas that refuse to be ignored, and we're going to see how that unravels in the course of the book. And so I'm excited to read another book from Percival Everett because I thought that James was amazing. Next up, we have a book that I found secondhand, and that is The Forest Brims Over by Maru Ayase, translated from Japanese by Hayden Trowell. And me and Ben were both convinced that we had heard of this book before. And I'm not sure if that was from someone or whether it was just something that I had come across on Goodreads or what. So if you think that you're the one that was talking about this book, you can let me know in the comments, because I cannot remember for the life of me where I had heard about this before. But this is, of course, a translated Japanese fiction. And this is essentially about a woman who is the subject of a lot of her husband's novels. He writes about her and he depicts her as a woman who loves sex, and she feels like her privacy is stripped away and society is looking at her, like objectifying her from the source of her husband's art, like the way that he portrays her. And so it says, when a decade's worth of frustrations reaches its boiling point, Rui consumes a bowl of seeds and buds and roots begin to sprout all over her body. Instead of taking her to a hospital, her husband keeps her in an aqua terrarium, set to compose a new novel based on this unsettling experience. But Rui breaks away from her husband by growing into a forest, and in time, she takes over the entire city. As fantasy and reality bleed together, the forest brims over, challenges unconscious gender biases, and explores the boundaries between art and exploitation, muse abuse in the literary world. So I don't think it really needs any more explanation than that on why I want to read this. I think that it sounds so interesting. So next up, we have two books that comprise a duology, and that is Heartless Hunter and Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli, and at least I think that's how you say her name. I guess I should be holding these the other way. So Heartless Hunter is book 1 and Rebel Witch is book 2, and Rebel Witch just came out in March. So I've been hearing a lot of hype about this duology, and the fact that it is a duology and that it's short and by a Canadian author is what made me pick up both of these at the same time, because like Indigo, of course, is promoting its Canadian authors. And I really like the concept behind this series where we have a witch and a witch hunter, where of course the witch hunter isn't going to know that our female character is a witch, but we also have the added layer of her being this vigilante called the Crimson Moth and saving her own kind from the like persecution that they face. And so in that sense, it kind of reminds me of the Rook and Rose series, where we have the Rook, who is a vigilante who kind of responds and helps people in need and things like that. And so I have always been a big fan of the like secret identity eventually revealed type of storyline and how that plays out. So that's a factor in my interest in this series, but I've also just heard really good things about it. So I am very much hoping that I enjoy both of these. I'm not exactly sure when I'm getting to them, but hopefully sometime this summer would be great. Next up, we have a book that every time I read the blurb, the more I think that this is a very complex story that has a lot going on, and that is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. So I've actually been looking at this and thinking about buying it for so long that it ended up at Value Village, and I found it in great condition secondhand. So yay for me, I guess, holding off my my willpower in buying another book. But basically what I get from the synopsis of this is that it is equal parts kind of like a socioeconomic story about the communities that we're following and how they struggle in like the States, while also being sort of like a mystery and crime novel, because it mentions like a dead body and the remains of someone being found in a community where Jewish and African American immigrants live. But then the synopsis also goes on to say a lot of other things, like about European immigrants and the neighborhood's like quirky collection of people, and a lot more about the actual people, and it mentions a deaf Black child that the state comes looking for, wanting to institutionalize him, and the residents kind of come together. So there's definitely not just one storyline in here. Even if it does all revolve around one central storyline, there's definitely more going on, and I really like that kind of novel. That's sort of like the human experience. Like, this is not just a mystery crime thriller. It's going to weave, at least I hope, it's going to weave those things in with the human experience of the people that we're following that live in this place. So that is what appealed to me about it, and I hope that that's what it delivers. Last but not least, we have Guns, Germs, and Steel by Jared Diamond, and I have been like tangentially interested in this book for a long time because I thought that it was an interesting way to look at history, and it was a history book through a lens that I would be interested in reading. Simple as that. And it's actually a little bit older than I realized. I guess it was published in 1997, so it is the same age as me. And I do think that it's interesting that this says that it has a new afterword about the modern world, because I don't even know when this edition came out, so this could be kind of like 2 time capsules in one, because of course, as our like geopolitical landscape changes, there is essentially more to be written about in this vein, especially after COVID, which obviously this won't cover, but I do find it very interesting to see what this book says about history and how these things have impacted it. And I don't really know like what to expect other than the obvious, but I do think that this will be a very cool read. Now, to tell you the truth, there could be more books. Like I said at the start, there could be more books that I'm forgetting that I have never actually hauled on camera, but I think I have covered them. Because whenever I don't collect these in a pile and I just start finding places for them on the shelf, I end up absolutely forgetting what I included in a video and what I didn't. But this is the extent of the books that I have recently hauled, and I am very, very excited to read them. And the couple that I have read / am currently reading have been going super well. So I would love if that energy continued throughout the entire stack. That is going to be it for this video. So thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments what you think about any of these books, if you think there's anything I should prioritize. I would love to hear what you thought. And yeah, with all of that said, I will have my socials and Discord with Ben in the description if you're interested in any of that stuff. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!